Welcome to Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings, with me, Gretta Chamberlain, and the Realm of Beings. Shifting Impressions, which is one of the vehicles that supports the transmission of the Realm of Beings, is here to assist you in delving into your being by providing numerous topics and discussions for you to intake as you deepen your connection with your inner world. Shifting Impressions is here to assist you in strengthening yourself as you excavate to understand your true nature. Join us today and learn to shift your mindset, shift your thoughts, and shift your focus to recreate your life and produce a new you. Shifting Impressions starts now.
Good morning and welcome to Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings. I'm Carol and I'm here with my co-hosts Gretta, Kathleen, and of course the Realm of Beings. The Realm, Gretta, and myself would like to invite everyone to visit us on this, the 35th anniversary of the New Life Expo in New York City from October 19th to the 20th at the New York, there go my tongues, the New York Bar Historical Building on 44th Street between 5th and 6th Avenue. Gretta will be performing complimentary psychic readings. She will also be giving lectures and a workshop. Kathy will also deliver a lecture, and yours truly, moi, will be there just to say hi to you. So get your tickets online, www.newlifeexpo.com. Of course, you can always experience Shifting Impressions and the latest news on our website, www.therealmofbeings.com, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, and any of your favorite streaming platforms. We at Shifting Impressions are very happy to be here on Transformation Network each Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time and 8 a.m. Pacific Time. Listeners, if you're new to the podcast, thank you for joining us and being part of this experience. These conversations will help you look at your life, your creation of reality, to see what you're creating, how it shows up, and how to help you gain perspective to shift what you are creating in order to create what you want. So welcome everybody. To new listeners and viewers to the podcast, each week Gretta shares with us a quote given to her from the Realm of Beings, which we discuss with each other, and later on in the show, the Realm will join us to expand on the quote that they have provided. This week and this month, in fact, we're going to be talking about health. So the quote this week is, "To be healthy physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually is dependent on you. Sometimes you can create health challenges that can appear devastating. However, do not condemn yourself for these actualizations, but look at them as supporters of the lessons which you have chosen to learn. Just relax and look for solutions to them that fit your needs. Fear not." And we always talk about fear is the one thing you want to avoid, especially because it will attract exactly what you fear. And not having good health is certainly something you probably don't want to have. I was immediately drawn to a book that I was actually turned on to many years ago before I even met Gretta or knew the term mental equivalencies, and it was You Can Heal Yourself by Louise Hayes, which is a very good synopsis of mental equivalencies. And we have a more extensive book, the complete dictionary. I think I have another one called The Complete Encyclopedia of Ailments and Diseases, which is by Jacques Martel. And thank you. Yes, I have that one too. I don't know why I pulled this one out. But we have learned, and I know that it has helped me tremendously, that when your body manifests dis-ease, It's generally a reflection of what your unconscious is trying to teach you for the lesson you're trying to learn. And if you can connect the mental equivalency, it will help you to focus on the lesson you're trying to learn and how you can overcome and learn that lesson. So we always recommend those books. There are plenty other books out there. I'm sure Greta knows of them. These are the two I happen to have. Well, three, because I have the encyclopedia one by Martel also. But mental equivalencies, that's something I learned about a long time ago. And after I met Greta, I have not had a cold in, I guess, 7 years we know each other? Never had a cold. Used to be like clockwork every winter. I could set my clock by when I would get strep throat or when I would get an upper respiratory infection. Now, nada, 7 years. So you definitely can create good health if that's your choice, which hopefully it should be. And on that note, I'm going to ask one of my wonderful co-hosts to please speak up and add to the discussion.
I'd like to say that that sentence that says, however, do not condemn yourself for these actualizations, but look at them as supporters of the lessons which you have chosen to learn. Because everything here in this reality is a lesson. I don't care what it is. There's a lesson in everything, because that's what this reality is about, learning lessons. So sometimes we'll develop, I know next week we're going to be talking about mental equivalencies, if I'm not mistaken. But today is just really to get all of you to understand that you have the control over what you're doing with your life, and that everything, be it that you stub your toe, be it that you create lupus, be it that you create giving yourself a birthday party. I mean, all of that is with you. It's never outside yourself. And we can give challenges, health challenges, because that's what Carol said we're dealing with this month is health. So yeah, we can give ourselves health challenges just to let us know what's going on in our unconscious mind. I can see Kathleen with her hand on her chin, so I'm going to change it on over to her.
Well, here's the interesting opener for me. When I met Greta, I'd had 2 back surgeries and had some challenges, mobility issues. And once through my creation, well, actually understanding that the mental equivalencies associated with the physical challenges that I created, I can honestly say I thought I was going to be on a rollator the rest of my life, but I'm walking. And it is because once I recognized and learned that I was creating that crutch, and I was about to hold on to that crutch for the remainder of my life, through the guidance of the realm of beings and Greta, and just working at it. It didn't happen overnight. It's not like she snapped her finger and said, Jesus said you can walk. It's not like that. I had to work. Mm-hmm. But I could see, once I got the aha that I was creating that, and I was taking another step and then another step and another step, I put that walker away. And I'm not on any pills. I was on about 8 pills, Tramadol, Percocet, ibuprofen 800, all kinds of stuff. Greta will tell you. I don't take anything. I take supplements. I take vitamin C. I take vitamin B complex. You know, I do that stuff now. And I think it's a testament to my inner strength and just recognizing and understanding and believing that what was being taught to me was, in fact, the truth. And the truth, as they say, shall set you free.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I'm sitting there just as cute as I want to be.
I have to just let the audience know that I've met Kathleen in person a few years ago. I had no idea that she ever had trouble walking. You would never be able to tell, because I myself faced walking issues also, and Gretta's helped me through that as well as the realm. But Kathleen, I had no idea till you told me that you had any issues. So it just shows that you can control your body, your mind, your emotions, your thoughts, and you can be healthy in all those areas. And it does take work, but that's what we're here to learn. We're here to learn lessons, and we have to practice it. Practice takes work. Practice makes perfect. So if you want perfect health, you got to practice it, right?
Correct. And I'm still working on some of the reverberations from, the back surgery. I was very active. I used to hike. I used to, I taught, and the outdoors was my classroom, taking 180 eighth graders up into the Poconos, tracking bears and stuff. I mean, I had to be physically able to do that. But when you give that up, it takes a while to get your body back. And that's what I'm working on now with the water aerobics. But I am determined, and that's really what it takes. It takes a lot of determination and a lot of changing your thoughts,
yes,
and the emotions that go with those thoughts. That's just my that's where I am right now.
Well, I think you mentioned a really important thing there, Kathy, because you said the word thoughts. And most people don't realize that how we create these experiences for ourselves is through thought and then through emotion. I've often said, I've equated it with a car. Mm-hmm. If the car represents the thoughts, the car is not going to move unless you put the gas in it. If there's no gas, it's not going to go anywhere unless you're going to have it towed or unless you're going to push it, you see. So the gas, we can equivocate that with the emotions. The more emotions that you stockpile about something helps you to bring it into actualization. So if you're having dis-ease, think about the thought. What was I thinking? What am I feeling that has brought this to me, this experience to me? Because we don't sit around and consciously say, okay, give me cancer. You've never heard of anybody say that. You've never had anybody say, give me lupus, or give me diverticuli, whatever. You don't hear anybody say that, but we experience it. And next week, we're going to show you how you experience it. What do those things mean? Everything means something. Everything. But sometimes we get into a debilitating situation, and and I mentioned this early, we want to condemn ourselves. We want to say, okay, why did I do this to myself? Oh, this is terrible. And so you go down into the rabbit hole with Alice, sit down there and have tea with her. And then the rabbit comes along and joins you. The Mad Hatter comes along. And then when the Queen of Hearts comes in, then you got a challenge. So, and not only that, but when you condemn yourself and you feel bad about yourself, that you have created this experience, then you're bringing in guilt, or you're bringing in fear. And only thing those two things give you is the dis-ease gets more strength. Mm-hmm. It gets more strength. That's all that it does, you see. And like that quote says, to be healthy physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually is dependent on you. Yes, you are the captain of your existence. You are. Nobody else is. I was speaking to a woman today who's been with me a while, and I was surprised. She started blaming someone else. I said, why are you blaming somebody else? That doesn't help. Or you're going to blame my mother didn't give me the right foods. Or you blame it on a food. I ate this and this is what happened. No, that's just a symptom of what's happening to you, but it's not the cause. The cause is up in your brain. The cause is at the unconscious level. That's where the cause is. And we highly suggest to develop courage to be able to look in and say, how did this happen? I have a woman that went through breast cancer. And I thought, with me, I was one of the components of that. And I thought it was over. Then she's been with me for 15 years or so, if not longer than that. And then she says, Greta, I have CLL, which is a chronic stage. It's a type of cancer. And you find it in the bone marrow. And I said to myself, not only did I say to myself, but I said, how did you do that? But then I realized that we didn't clean up the reason why she got cancer the first time. Now she's going back through it again. And we had to really get into what was your family like when you were growing up? What was that like for you? Because she had stored up things all the way back when she was a child that set a pace for her where she got to this point. So, I told her, I said, I suggest let's get rid of this and let's deal with it, in a way that it does not repeat itself. You can go to a quote unquote healer and they can lay hands on you and they say, now we want you to get up and walk. So then the person gets up and walks and hops around and everybody, shouts in gratitude that this person was quote unquote healed. But then the person can go home just 2 hours later and can't walk again. And that's because you didn't deal with the issue. It's important to deal with the issue. I don't care if you're going to the Therify machine, you're going to EE systems, you're doing radionics, you're doing the Rife machine, or you're doing any of those machines, or you're going all over to the doctors and so forth. You're doing acupuncture, you're doing Oriental medicine. It does not matter unless you deal with you. And some people, tell me, well, I've had all these doctors look at me and nobody can help me. It's not the doctor's fault, and it's really nobody's fault. It just means you want to keep learning the lesson. You want to keep practicing that.
But Greta, I think the audience needs to understand that in order for me to push away and stand up on my own 2 feet and walk again and amaze everybody else. And I've been doing so now for quite a few years now. For some, it was a challenging journey. And because, just piggybacking what you're saying, Carol, all of us have to go look deep inside, because every time we kept looking outside of ourselves, we were prolonging our own healing. And learning and just focusing all of that energy on, I no longer look outside of myself. Everything, I understand everything that happens to me, I am the one that's creating it. And how I handle that creation sometimes can be just as challenging, because it may not be what I wanted to experience. But like the quote says, I have to understand as part of my lessons. And everyone's here to learn their lessons, but how you want to learn them is up to you. Everybody, I think that follows this program understands exactly what we're saying, but it's not. Sometimes it can actually literally. I've seen people that we work with just shut them down. They just want to just drains them because the memories of things are just so intense, and they never thought about it in that way before. But once you look at why do you have back challenges? You know, where it's located in the back, because each vertebrae means something different. Your fingers, every part of your body, is telling you things, and it can take years for that stuff to manifest itself. And like Greta says, when you give it that last little bit of gas, that's when it goes, aha, bam, there you go. And yet your body talks to you all of the time, but we just don't know how to listen. So one of the questions that I'm going to ask the realm is, how do we listen to our bodies in such a way that we are able to not manifest an illness that's going to be very challenging to undo?
You know, there is a system, if people are interested, but I think we're going to talk about that, though. How do we communicate with our body? But there's a system called body talk. And they, with that system, that they train you to really talk to your body. Personally, I've never done it. I just knew to talk.
I have.
Yeah, like the time that I had a heart attack. I was standing in my kitchen. I might have shared this with everybody before, but I think it's paramount for me to do it again. And I felt a heaviness in my chest, and I started feeling pain in my chest. And so I didn't know what it was. So I asked the realm of beings. I said, you guys, I said, I'm feeling such and such. What am I experiencing? And I heard them say it out loud, just like I'm talking to you. It said, oh, you're having a heart attack. And I said, oh, I'm having a heart attack? So I didn't panic. You don't want to panic because that's fear. If I had panicked and showed fear, then I was definitely going to have that heart attack, because with fear, you get what you fear. Mm-hmm. So I walked into my living room and I sat down and I said, heart, we don't need this. We don't need to have this experience. You know, we don't have time to call for an ambulance and have them take us to the hospital and put us through all these things that they're going to put us through. We don't have time for that. And I said, I love you. See, here comes that word again, love, that we keep promoting on this podcast. And I told her, I said, heart, I love you. I love every cell that composes you. I love you dearly. You don't have to show this to me. You know, you really don't. And I gave it, because I do energy work. Of course, I put my hand over my heart and I just sent it some loving energy, which is pink energy. I sent it some loving energy to let it know, I love you. This is not necessary. So it took me about 20 minutes. And then it stopped. Everything stopped. But it was because I took the time to talk, like Kathy said, talk to my heart and let it know you didn't have to do this.
Now, see, Greta, what you're saying sounds real good on this Zoom, but I know, see, you already was steeped in what you needed to do. But if it was me, I'm going to tell you right now, I'd have been running around the house.
If you're going for a heart attack, you wouldn't have been running.
Oh, okay.
Right now.
You know what I'm saying?
Probably somewhere on the floor laying down there. Yeah.
I said,
Yeah.
what's going on?
Yeah.
911. I just know, but you were able, because you were knowledgeable of what you needed to do, and you decided you weren't going to transition then, because you have to be on this show with us right now at this very moment, and we are all very truly grateful for that, right, Carol? But I
Oh,
mean,
you have no idea.
people out there were like, but she put energy on her heart. Well, suppose I break my leg. Wait, the leg don't break.
But you know what? When people have worked with us, I know we're laughing about it, but I have people that I facilitate for, and you and Carol are two people that I facilitate for,
That's
and
correct.
you have learned how to take the energy,
Hmm.
how to put it on your body, and how. But see, I know that there are a lot of people out there that are going to say, well, I don't know how to do that. But that's why I'm supporting Kathy in saying, do the body talk.
Hmm.
Because every cell in your body hears you. Everything hears you because everything that's in your body, I don't care if it's the oxygen, I don't care if it's the nitrogen, the dopamine, don't care what it is living. Every part of your body is living, and they communicate with each other. Like if
Oh,
you're having
sure.
problems in one part of your body, you better know that everybody else that's in your body knows that you're having a problem over
And
there.
sometimes they're going to support each other. So you want the right kind of support. You want them to
Absolutely.
all feel the love and know that they all need to work together in a loving situation to be healed. So, on that note, we're going to take a quick break. And when we return, we will be discussing this quote with the realm themselves. I'd like to take a moment, since we also mentioned it's also physical, emotional, spiritual, and mental healing. September, if those of you are not aware, is Suicide Prevention Month. And I would like to really emphasize to people that suicide is not the way to transition. There are many ways to find help and to get support. And I can empathize with people who feel that way, but I can tell you that it's not the way to transition. And I have Greta to thank for that. She taught me that right away, and I have hung on to that for years. So remember, people, you can always have help. If you're not able to help yourself, there's always someone there to help you, because you'll create them. And on that note, we're going to take a quick break, and listeners, please stick with us. We'll be back to hear from the realm. Thank you for sticking with us, listeners. Welcome back to Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings. For those of you just tuning in, we're at that portion of the podcast where the realm, who Gretta channels, will discuss the quote we've been discussing for the past half hour. So let me ask, Realm, are you with us?
We are here and ready.
And we are so happy that you are. This week and month, we're talking about health, and this particular quote you gave this week is, to be healthy physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually is dependent on you. Sometimes you can create health challenges that can appear devastating. However, do not condemn yourself for these actualizations, but look at them as supporters of the lessons which you have chosen to learn. Just relax and look for solutions to them that fit your needs. Fear not. Realm, share some more knowledge, please.
We'd like to talk about solutions. Because sometimes people will say, this solution is not good. You shouldn't do that solution. You should do this solution. But see, what is good is going to be determined by the person who is having the experience. So if you are having a health challenge, it's okay to go to an allopathic doctor. It's okay to go to a massage therapist. It's okay to go get acupuncture. It's okay to do functional medicine. It's what is best for you. Because when you take it as a solution, you do take that solution down into your gut. And you say, this is the solution. This is what's going to work for me. And you really believe it, and you give intense thought energy to that, then guess what? It's going to work for you. So solutions vary. And we highly suggest that there's no need to carry guilt or shame about that you live in a family who practices natural medicines, and now you want to go to an allopathic doctor. That's fine, because it's you. You are seeking the solution for you. So there should be no condemnation on anything that has been created to support us in alleviating illness or dis-ease. Taking certain medicines, if that's what you need to take to get through your experience, then take it. If you want to take that medicine and add on supplements to it, then do that. If you want to go to a doctor who practices naturopathic medicine, then do that. If you believe in it, it's going to work for you.
Realm, can I also just interject that the opposite is also true? If you believe something is not going to be helpful, it won't help you. I had an experience when I was a child with my grandmother who had a chronic condition, and I remember her complaining constantly. And of course, she had no idea she created it, but she went to at least 6 different doctors, and she did not like any of these physicians. And each one tried to give her a medicine to help her illness or her dis-ease, and none of them worked for her. She finally went to a doctor, and she liked him. She liked his personality. I guess his energy was very positive for her. And she said he was the best doctor she ever went to, and the medicine he gave her was the best medicine she ever used, and it alleviated her symptoms. And guess what it was?
Placebo.
Exactly. So again, the proof of what you believe is going to work or not work. Yes. What you believe, yes, it will work or it will not work. Right?
Absolutely.
Power of our thoughts and emotions.
Like I work with someone that has a occasional migraine. They get migraine headaches, and we had to unpack when she had the first one, and just to find what the triggers and things were. But as a facilitator, the audience may not know this, but I am Gretta and our team. We are constantly learning about the human body, so that when we act as the conduits for the realm, I see myself like a speaker. The more understanding that we have. Why am I talking to the realm? The realm is sitting right there. The realm knows what the heck the realm does. I forgot I was talking to the realm. Well, now I lost my train of thought. But the bottom line is that when we go down deep and unpack what are the causes, what our thoughts are, what our emotions are, that's when they begin to have fewer and fewer migraines, and that's when the goal is to not have them at all, and don't have them reoccur and come back. I'm sorry, Realm.
Basically, what I got from that,
Kathleen, it's quite all right.
What I got from that is that you're going to repeat lessons until they're learned.
There you go.
So
when you say that, though, Carol, then there's the explanation that when you make your transition,
you take it
and recreate your transition, your new transitional portal, what lessons you have not learned in the disease area, you're going to experience it again, because the idea is to learn it and be done with it.
Exactly. That's why that's why you brought up suicide, because people think you're getting away from all of that. Am I correct, Realm? But you just take it right on with you.
Exactly.
Just present itself in another different way.
It's a continuation.
Yeah. If for whatever reason that is done, but it is a way of transitioning. Remember that it is your choice how you're going to transition. There's no good or bad choice. It's just yours.
Agreed.
So the thing is, though, with the diseases that you experience, there are different types. Sometimes you may live in a different part of the world that puts you in contact with another type of health challenges that you wouldn't be faced with here in this country. Like, for instance, malaria.
Or even clean water.
So there you go, being bitten by a mosquito. But the mosquito comes to you and bites you because you attract it to yourself, because you want to experience it and learn something from it. That is it. Viruses the same way. Every disease is based on your thoughts and your emotions. Now, how can you keep most of these things away from you? Or to really tell you the honest God truth, you don't have to go through these health challenges unless you want to. Some people have a collective consciousness. I have measles. I go over to my friend's house and I have the measles. His mother looks at me and says, "You have measles. Now you may give my child measles." So then what does my friend say? Is mine, "Oh, You came to my house with measles. Now I'm going to get measles. You see the thought?
Mm-hmm.
So what does the child create but to get measles?
Yep.
And then the classroom teacher says, oh, we have a challenge here in the classroom. The children are dropping like flies. They all have measles. Collective consciousness. But there might have been one child, Susie Q, who decided, I don't care what anybody else is doing. I'm not getting those measles. So out of all the children in that classroom, Susie Q is still coming to school because she didn't get the measles. She didn't get the measles because she didn't want the measles.
Mm-hmm.
But see, there's a thing called genes in your human body. Some of you, before you are, once you are developed as far as being a humanoid, you can decide your parents because you decide on the parents that are going to support you in most of the lessons that you have to learn, you see. So one lesson may be from an emotional point of view, I am going to practice being an addict of some sort or another. Greta, at one point, was an addict for Snickers bars. You know, we would just look at her as she just ate and munched and ate. But nonetheless, it was an addiction, you see. But we have to change our ways of wanting to be ill or wanting to be in a collective. A plague is a collective.
Mm.
That people got together and said, I want to experience the bubonic plague with my neighbor. And all of this is done at the unconscious level, not at the conscious level, because who walks around and says, bring me the bubonic plague? Or whatever. So, but you see it happening, and then you say, oh my God, I'm going to catch it. You know, some people fear that they're going to get something from somebody else. So therefore, the fear, the body says, okay, everybody, tie yourselves down. The person is already telling us they're fearing skin rashes. All right, get ready, skin. Hang in there, because here it comes. And the rash just marches on in and says, here we are. We're ready to help you. Next week, I know you're going to be talking about the mental equivalency, so I'm not going to blow it here. But we call these things to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So get into a habit, as we suggest, of uncalling them to yourselves. It's a decision. It's a decision you want to catch a cold like your neighbor. And then some people say, oh, I caught a cold. You did? Yes. And how did you get it? I got it from Mary Jane down the street. I went over to her house and bought her a pumpkin pie, and she was sick, snorting and snotting and coughing and so forth. And I was there, right there with her. She gave it to me. Did you hear what I said?
Nobody can. Nobody can give anybody. Nobody can give anybody anything.
Absolutely. You must create to have something. At all times, you're constantly, as a human being, you are constantly creating realities. You are constantly creating realities of dis-ease, or constantly creating realities of wonderful, perfect health, or you're creating a combination of both. Depends on what your lessons are. So with the genes, you can set up health challenges through the genes by choosing a parent who has sickle cell. It's in the genes. And so you can say, prior to coming into this reality, you can say, I have chosen my father to carry the sickle cell trait, therefore, and I'm going to take it on. Mm-hmm. I'm going to take it on as well. That's why you chose the man who had sickle cell, because you want, what is that going to do for you? What is it going to teach you? You see, these things don't just pop up. They teach you something about yourselves. So you want to pay attention to see, what am I learning about me every time I catch a cold? Every month I'm coughing. What is that about me that I'm doing that?
Well, Realm, I have a friend, a very dear friend, and it never fails. Doesn't matter what season is. This person will say, well, I might as well get ready to get my sinus infections. I get at least 2 or 3 every winter. And I say, why do you want to create that? Why do you keep saying that? Well, because I do. I said, well, you do because you keep saying you want to experience it. And it's like beating a dead horse, to be quite honest with you. And I'm waiting for her to decide to say, I think I'm going to be very healthy this winter, or just change your thought. You always change your thoughts and you change what happens to you.
For sure.
Yeah, so it's sort of like that, you know, and just your thoughts on that, Realm.
Kathleen.
Yes.
Please don't beat a dead horse.
The horse chose to transition the way it wanted to, so leave it alone. Well, I just would like to, because Kathy touched on something that had also crossed my mind. I know that I want to just remind the listeners, Gretta's taught us to always be careful, not just what you think, but what you say. And I remember saying, like, without even thinking about it, oh, I'm so tired. And I finally caught myself saying, I'm not tired. Why am I saying I'm tired? I'm making myself tired. So you have to be cognizant. But on that note, someone who I work with recently experienced an emotional upheaval, and to the point that he actually had to take the week off from work because of his emotional distress. And of course, he's blaming the other person causing this distress. To people who do not know or understand creation of reality, is there something we can do to help them learn that they actually created their situation and that they can help themselves? Or should we just mind our own business?
Carol.
Yes, Realm.
Everybody is ready when they're ready.
True.
You cannot make somebody ready. They make themselves ready. And one way they make themselves ready is through the experiences that they create.
Good point.
See. And then not only when they're ready, then they attract. Let me not say that first. They create and then attract things that are going to support them in being in a state of readiness. This podcast is a being in a state of readiness. You see, it's not everybody that will come and flow to this site and say, oh, yippee. You see, when you come here, it's to learn about yourselves. It's to learn how to go inward. I think you all did inward reflections last month.
Mm-hmm.
So it's to learn how to do that. Not everyone is ready for that. To search within themselves. There's nothing wrong with the fact that they are ready or they are not ready. It just is.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. It just is. We encourage them to look at another paradigm for their life, but we can't make them do that, Carol.
That's true. Everyone creates their own reality.
Absolutely. And that brings up another repeat of what we said about blaming.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, another thing about health, I want to go back to those colds. Because, you know, you can look at somebody, you can say to them, you don't look well today. And they'll say to you, just as innocently saying, I have a cold. Soon as they say, I have a cold, then guess what?
They called it to themselves.
Yes, claimed it and everything else. I have it. Okay, so you're going to have it. You're going to have it because you said you have it. You see. And more you tell yourself that you have it, the happier the cold is. The germs are just as happy. She's keeping us. Come on, let's grow. Let's multiply. You see. Because you said you have them. And they're happy to be had.
Yeah, and you know what, Realm? You know, there was a person who's made this transition that whenever they had a huge closing or big deal they had to do, they always came down with a cold and a cough. And finally I said to that person, I said, you know what? This is why you keep recurring and looping with this stuff. There are mental equivalencies associated with this. I said, however, when is the closing date? And they said, oh, it's whatever it was, a couple of days later. I said, you're going to wake up and what you're experiencing is going to be gone. Now, the person didn't believe me. But after the third time, it said, you're right. I said, yeah, so why don't you stop creating that from the door? But it's just interesting. It's just illustrating what you were talking about and what we were talking about this whole program. And so to segue into that, the key to self-liberation, next week on the 13th, we're going to be talking about health and mental equivalencies. Ooh. Each health challenge that you call to yourself is attached to a reason, which is created by your thoughts and emotions.
So true. So true. Can I just add one little more item of my 2 cents here? I'd like to remind the listeners too that, and we say this about everything, but I find it happens a lot in regards to how people treat their health issues. Don't judge anybody. If they're treating their bodies or their health agendas in a particular way that's not the same way as you, it's not your place to tell them, don't do that. I'm specifically talking about people who say, don't get vaccines versus people who say, oh, you must get vaccines. Or someone at work who had a recent health challenge, a doctor wanted to prescribe a medicine for her. and someone else said, oh, you shouldn't take prescription medicines. You should only take natural remedies. And
But
it's
they're
like,
creating that, Carol. They're creating
exactly,
that person to
don't
say it
judge
to.
someone else's choices of their creations, because they're going to get better the way they create to get better. And it's not up to us. We don't know what lessons they're learning. It's not up to us to judge them. And I'm not flawless, believe me. I've judged in my day, and I probably still judge a lot. But I try to be more aware of that. Just because someone doesn't accept creation of reality, for instance, because I've talked about it to people who are unaware, and they look at me like I'm from Mars or, from another universe, which perhaps I am, and I just haven't discovered that yet. It's not up to me to force them to learn about creation of reality. If they want to know, and I have had people turn around and tell me more about it. Tell me what your podcast is about. How does it work? I mean, it really is up to each individual to choose how they wish to create their reality. And it's up to us to love ourselves unconditionally and then love everyone else unconditionally, which means don't judge them if they're doing things differently.
And
Your
people
way
can,
is not the only way.
and people can spot the difference in your energy by how, if you're joyful, they see it right away, and they want to know, what are you doing? But Carol, we're out of time, so you better bring the realm back.
No, I'd like to thank Kathleen, Gretta, the Realm Transformation Network, and most of all, I'd like to thank listeners for joining us and sharing in these experiences. We hope that you are learning from them and that your life is becoming a better creation for you. And until we create each other again, enjoy your week.
Once again, thanks for joining us at Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings on TransformationTalkRadio.com. As you have explored today's creation of reality experience with the Realm and me, Greta, each of you is being supported by us in further developing the understanding that you are not just an individual existing in linear time and space, but a multi-dimensional force of infinite possibilities who is connected to all. So begin to create the realities you want. Join us every Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific Time and 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Shifting Impressions at TransformationTalkRadio.com. So long until we create each other again next Friday.